Saskatoon, the city of fridges. The icy prairies of Canada are home to some of the coldest cities in the world, with snowfall seasons lasting almost half of the year. Most citizens escape such conditions by keeping warm in the comfort of their homes and heated vehicles for transportation. However, despite the extreme weather conditions of Saskatoon, a trend is emerging as a more active alternative to the standard daily commute. Thanks to a dedicated group of citizens, winter cycling is on the rise. Whether for recreational purposes or out of necessity, some have chosen to brave the elements in conditions that most would consider too extreme. With several easier and warmer methods of transportation available, it seems as though the general populace would never consider winter cycling as a feasible option, and that those who participate in the sport are taking an unnecessary risk. Does winter cycling require a level of determination that is unattainable for the common citizen? Or is that simply a misguided mindset, holding people back from an interesting new experience? Several employees of the Bike Universe Bike Shop have some answers.
If you can handle the cold and you like to ride a bike, it's pretty fun.
Once you get into the routine, it's a lot, if you get the right gear and you're in the routine of doing it, it's part of your lifestyle, then I think it becomes a lot easier.
And I find if you're in a car and you're like kind of bummed out by the weather and you just like have nothing to do but just like sit and wallow in like your winter depression, on a bike it's totally not like that, because you're just like thinking about not falling the whole time. So you don't really have time to worry about the bleakness of the weather.
However, winter cycling isn't all fun. Some residents of the city still face resistance for their alternative lifestyle.
I've still been honked at and like kind of yelled at from cars.
They don't love cyclists taking up their lane. Mostly because you have to be like right in the road. You kind of have to take the whole lane sometimes because there's a lot of snow built up on the side of the road. So vehicles get a little bit mad. Sometimes they honk, sometimes they yell things out their window, which isn't nice, but gotta share the road.
But for those who do choose to go against the grain, there's most certainly monetary benefits for people on a budget.
That's the thing, bus passes are expensive. Which I'm not against the bus, I've taken it in the past happily, but yeah, it's kind of pricey. I pay like $200 for my bike used and then like $150 on the studded tires.
I have a customer who doesn't want to pay $80 a month for a bus pass, and so he's riding his bike every day. He figured with the $80, 2 months, he's bought two studded tires, and for the rest of the months he can maintain his bike and it's still going to be cheaper in the end. Yeah,
I mean, by the time you invest in your bike and all the gear, it's not that expensive if you're going to do it a lot. Kind of want a bit of a beater, probably want winter tires. You definitely need a winter helmet and goggles. I did that for the first time this year. I bought a winter helmet and goggles, and it's been awesome.
Of course, the most alienating aspect of the activity is the potentially extreme cold that the city presents, and everybody has their limits.
I didn't bike on the coldest day of the winter, which when the wind chill was like -50, I walked.
Here, I chicken out at about probably -20, but it's more about the wind, I would say.
I've ridden at -40. I really don't care for it all that much, but I appreciate that there's a lot of people out there that are still riding and getting to work that way. That's kudos to them.
But despite the more extreme conditions, keeping warm may not be as much of a hurdle as some people may think.
Once you're moving, it's not too cold. You get some goggles, it's like pretty doable. Wool socks, I got like some long johns, usually a wool shirt, sweater, jacket, a couple pairs of mitts.
When it's not part of your lifestyle and you don't have the gear, that's when it becomes more difficult.
I would say it's not hard to keep warm. Often I have an issue with overheating because I'm like, okay, I'm going out, it's -20, I dress up really, really warm, and then within 5 minutes I'm sweating, and then your kind of extremities like fingers and toes can get cold. But as long as you're prepared for that, then you should be good.
And even for those who don't dare to brave the colder weeks of the year, Saskatoon is an adequate city for accommodating biking, but it is still far from perfect.
It's getting better, but certainly there's a need for more dedicated street and more education to, the cyclists and the car drivers as well.
This city, I'd say it's good and bad. It's good in the fact that in my opinion, it's small enough that you can get pretty much anywhere. There's a lot of roads that have room or lanes for cyclists, And then again, there's some that don't. So it's like if you pick a certain route, you should be able to get anywhere. Definitely vehicles are a little bit resistant towards cyclists. There's a lot of anger that goes on. So I'd say the city itself is set up okay. It's more the people and their attitude that can be the problem.
These negative attitudes do not deter the bikers, however, as there are still many aspects of the culture that make the effort worth the while.
One for the street cred, because everyone thinks you're a badass.
I like feeling like I'm a cyclist, especially in the winter. Usually there's kind of like a little bit of camaraderie with all the winter cyclists in Saskatoon. Everyone kind of like doesn't know each other, but you know, gives each other the nod, and you kind of feel like you're part of this community of people who are doing something cool.
Just general like environmental reasons. I think as the years go by, biking is just going to become more and more commonplace. I think it's nice to be an early adopter.
My background is in environmental studies, so also environmental concerns.
It's just an easy way to inject fun into your life.
Yeah, it's about not using your car. I mean, we live in an extreme environment, so that's what people do so that they don't use a car, is ride at 40 below.
Let's say if you don't like biking to begin with, you probably won't like winter biking. But if you like biking in the summer, winter biking is just as easy. Well, not quite. Almost as easy, just as fun.
In the end, it seems winter cycling is a lot less extreme of an activity than most people perceive. With the right gear and the right attitude, it may be the perfect form of transportation and exercise for those who are already into biking. And who knows, maybe it could be a fun new experience for people who would never even consider it.